The apocalypse arrived, and once again, I was pestering my boyfriend with water based abilities to expend his mental energy to bathe me. I saw the bullet comments. Oh my god, sister, it's already the end of the world. Do you still care about taking a shower? The female side character, aside from her beauty, is utterly useless. The male lead needs a female lead as strong as himself. It's fine when the zombie horde arrives. The male lead will break up with her once he sees her selfish side. Without the male lead's protection, the original female supporting character eventually dies at the hands of the zombie king. I shivered all over. I pushed Chiha away forcefully. No, I won't wash it. Chihua paused his movement, gauging the distance between me and him, as if he didn't understand where I got such energy. I feel inexplicably guilty. Of course, it could also be because I was scared by the zombie king in the barrage. Chihua slightly furrowed his brow. Really not going to wash? I nodded repeatedly, still shaken. It's fine. Chihua, you're the team leader. Save your mental energy to deal with the zombies. Perhaps it was the first time he had heard me speak so sensibly. Chihua remained silent for a moment. After a while, he finally said, slowly, all right, although I refused to take a bath. Chihua still dampened the towel and gently wiped my face. I stared at the handsome face, so close to mine, and my Adam's apple involuntarily rolled. I haven't been infatuated for more than a few seconds. The barrage is flooding the screen again. The supporting female character Wen Yang is both pretentious and overly sentimental. Isn't it just a case of being attracted to someone's looks? The male lead, a typical STEM guy, is being relentlessly pursued for the first time. No wonder he's fallen into the supporting female character's trap. Didn't anyone notice the male lead's ability? It's water-based indeed. The human body is about 70% water. Anytime the male lead wants, he could burst someone's blood vessels or turn them into a mummy. No wonder the female side character insists on following the male lead. This is clearly a golden leg to cling to me. Seeing the barrage, I instinctively wanted to grab the towel and wipe my face myself, but the hand around my waist tightened. Chihuahua's tone was gentle, but his words were firm. Been traveling all day. Let me wipe your face, and you can go to sleep quickly. Okay, I silently nodded. It wasn't until late day left to take his night shift that I opened my eyes again. The words from the bullet comments still danced in my mind. According to the bullet comments, I was a selfish female side character. Will be dumped by Chiha later. Will also die at the hands of the zombie king. I suddenly shivered. Half a year ago, the Earth was affected by an unknown object, causing a brief but significant global temperature rise. Ancient glaciers melt, unknown viruses rage, and zombies appear. But the virus also shattered the stable threshold of human genes, causing a small number of people, instead of mutating into zombies under the virus's erosion, to awaken supernatural abilities. Chihua is one of them. Since he saved me from the zombies, I've been clinging to him. Perhaps the insecurity of being in a post-apocalyptic world. Or perhaps it was because Chihua was genuinely outrageously handsome, breaking the stereotype of the traditional science and engineering guy. I've fallen for him. After 3 months of relentless pursuit, I finally managed to catch up with him. Perhaps because the chase was so exhausting. Once we were together, I started acting out. Even though I was just a parasite in the team, I still acted like I was in charge. Chihua is the team leader, so even if others disliked me, they could only endure it. But now I saw the bullet comments, knowing that all the current pretentiousness will be punished in the future. Even Chihao, who dotes on me now, will fall in love with the female lead who has the same powers as him in the future. I feel an inexplicable fear. I fear that I will die in this post-apocalyptic world overrun by zombies and viruses. I am even more afraid of that unknown zombie king. After some thought, I can't blame anyone who made me an ordinary person with no special abilities at all. The next day, I didn't wait for Chiha to wake me up. I had already tidied myself up quickly. Besides me and Chiha, there were 2 other people in the team. One is an ordinary person like me named Sun Yuang. The other is Qishang, an electric type ability user who got separated on the road. Seeing me get up so early and help him take stock of the supplies, Sun Wang widened his eyes. I could easily guess what he was thinking. I pretended not to notice and helped him with his work. But my peripheral vision couldn't help but glance toward Qihua ahead. He was discussing the next route with Qishang. His profile was stern, completely unaware of me. Bullet comments float by at just the right moment. Oh, so the supporting female character is starting to go independent now. LOL, thinking this can change the outcome. In the original story, she starts to wise up around this time, too. But the male lead already finds her annoying. Just wait and see. When the male lead realizes she's no longer clinging to him, he'll be overjoyed. I lower my eyes, my chest feeling heavy. Would he really be happy? I don't know, but as soon as I see him, I think of the bullet comments, mentioning my miserable fate. So, I try my best to avoid being alone with Qihua. By the end of the day, I could sense that Qishang and Sun Yuang were both somewhat surprised. I inwardly smiled bitterly. Isn't that just the truth? Back when I used to travel, I'd constantly be asking for something to drink, then something to eat. If I sat too long and my butt hurt, I'd whine about it. You could say I was always finding something to complain about. But now, the team had been traveling all day. I didn't utter a single word. I even offered to drive, but I was turned down by Qihao. I had no choice but to sit quietly in the back seat, trying to minimize my presence. If I don't cause trouble, I probably won't be disliked. Even if I really encounter some danger in the future, they probably wouldn't just watch me die. After a long day of traveling, we finally settled at an abandoned gas station. I offered to help Sun Yuang set up the tent and start a fire. We were both so busy that we couldn't even keep our feet on the ground. Qihua looked at me several times, but I simply pretended not to notice. Finally, after finishing my busy work, I suddenly had a premonition. Chao would probably come looking for me. I quickly grabbed Sun Wang and humbly asked, can you teach me a few self-defense techniques? Although Sun Wang was just an ordinary person like me, but he used to be a free combat coach, much better than me. I thought it over carefully last night too. Relying on others is not as good as relying on oneself. Learning a little is always beneficial for oneself. Sun Wang was somewhat surprised, but still, he taught me out of consideration for me being Chiha's girlfriend. I practiced for 3 hours and my arms were almost exhausted. After agreeing with Sun Yuang to continue tomorrow, I walked to my own tent. Chao suddenly appeared and blocked me. A tall figure stood in front of me, his tone calm. Wenyang, what's wrong with you today? I'm not good at lying. She simply lowered her head, avoiding eye contact with him, her tone hesitant. Nothing much, nothing much. Hearing this, she paused for a few seconds, then slowly said, You haven't said a word to me today, and you haven't. I bit my lip, knowing what he hadn't finished saying. She was going to say that I hadn't given him a kiss today, even in the most dangerous situations before. I would sneak a kiss when the other two weren't paying attention. I knew he carried great pressure as the team leader and had the responsibility of protecting everyone, so I tried my best to make him feel more at ease. But today, forget about kissing. We could count the number of times we made eye contact on one hand. My mind was racing and I stammered, You're busy. Qihua fell silent for a moment as if gathering his thoughts. Was it because I didn't give you a bath that day? I suddenly looked up and met his handsome face, which showed no expression. It's not because of that, and I'm not angry either. I just think you're already working hard enough every day, so I don't want to trouble you. Hearing the word trouble, Qihua frowned slightly, as if deep in thought. After a while, he reached out and ruffled my hair. Don't be polite with me. After saying that, Qihao suddenly pulled me into the tent. Before I could react, a torrent of kisses descended upon me. In the midst of hurried breaths, a sudden pain flared at the corner of my lips. Then I heard Chiha's somewhat Horsero voice. Dantiti smile at Sun Wang. After saying that, Qihua comfortingly kissed me twice. Then he went out to keep watch. The barrage of comments swiftly scrolled by. Is it just my imagination, or is the male lead trying to control his gun? Tisk, TSK, Heske. What a fierce weapon between his legs. Don't even think about it. The male lead's first time belongs to the female lead. By the way, the supporting female character is really quite beautiful. It's a shame she's just an ordinary person with no strength to speak of. Who said the female side character is an ordinary person? She's an supernatural user, too. Okay, me. I instantly forgot about the pain at the corner of my mouth. Really, am I also an ability user? I widen my eyes, devoutly anticipating what the bullet comments would say. Abilities are essentially a reflection of a person's inner world, and the female supporting character cares most about her appearance, so she becomes more and more beautiful. Others don't know this and think she is a zero ability user. Me. Damn. Don't even mention the bullet comments. I even wanted to call myself a useless piece of trash. I woke up in Kai's arms. The next day, in the late night, he and Chang switched shifts. I stared at the handsome face, so close to mine, unable to resist reaching out to touch it. As soon as my hand landed on his nose, Chihao grabbed it. He slowly opened his eyes and placed a kiss on my forehead. Last night, I received a distress signal from 200 kilometers away. We need to pass by your alma mater. I haven't even processed it yet, but the barrage of comments has already exploded. Wow, the female lead is about to arrive. Oh my, the male lead is 3 years older than the female lead. Right, older man supremacy. Great, finally, the female lead has arrived. She has healing type abilities. So, the male lead won't have to endure injuries alone anymore later. The female lead will undergo a second evolution, becoming the first person with 2 abilities. This strong female lead is just awesome. A powerful duo, incredibly satisfying. I lowered my eyelids, hiding the emotions in my eyes. Seeing my lackluster reaction, Chihua asked me, I heard you say before that you really miss your alma mater. Why aren't you happy? I smiled, pulling away from his embrace, avoiding his intimacy. I'm happy. So let's hurry and pack up behind the invisible corner. Kai's face stiffened for a moment, his gaze suddenly darkening, but his tone remained as gentle as ever. All right, 200 kilometers. A half-day drive to get there. My alma mater is a normal university in City C, located in the university town on the outskirts of the city. The campus, once bustling, now looks desolate and ruined. I stared blankly at the teaching buildings outside the car window. The bullet comments are already flooding the screen. Here she comes. Countdown to the heroine's entrance. Healing type ability. The man's destined wife. Wait, what was the heroine's name in the original story again? Shun Shening-han. Yes, Shin Ching-han, a third-year medical student, a calm and rational beauty. I clenched the hem of my clothes tightly. My heart inexplicably acted with a sour, swollen feeling, even though I had already tried so hard to restrain my feelings for Chihua. Why does it still hurt my heart to see the bullet comments saying that the car door opened and a cold wind rushed in? Chihua glanced back at me and reached out his hand. Normally, I would have hurried over eagerly, but this time I just jumped out of the car by myself. Pretending not to see his hand, I jogged over to Sun Yuang's side. Brother, son, what are we learning today? Chiha's hand paused in midair for 2 seconds before he casually withdrew it. Seems like there wasn't much of a reaction either. I withdrew my gaze and followed them into the building. I had thought Shin Ching-han was the only survivor unexpectedly. Standing beside her was a boy who bore some resemblance to her. Only after her introduction did I learn that he was her younger brother named Shinkingwa. He's an ordinary person, just like me. Chua didn't say anything after hearing that. Instead, Chang, upon hearing that Shin Ching-han had healing abilities, he became completely excited. Holy Chang widened his eyes. Healing type ability. I stood by the window, looking at the familiar teaching building, but my ears were always listening to their conversation. Healing ability is indeed a hot commodity. No wonder Chiha would break the original plan and change course to come here. I instinctively looked at him, but he was looking at Shin Ching-han. His gaze focused. That kind of look is all too familiar to me. He looked at me the same way back then, but back then, my face was covered in blood, looking as wretched as a stray dog. And now, Shin Ching-han's face was calm, exuding great composure. The chest felt as if it were being tightly gripped by something. I lowered my head, trying to make my voice sound as normal as possible. I walked over to Sun Yuang and whispered, "Brother Sun, let's go help move the supplies first." Halfway through moving the supplies, someone stopped me. It was Shinqing Han's younger brother. "Shinkingwa, you've been looking at the school just now. Were you also a teacher before?" I nodded. "Graduated 2 years ago." Shinkingwa nodded thoughtfully. "Then what's your name?" "Sister Mi Wenyang." He repeated it, complimenting how nice my name sounded. He chatted with me casually while moving things. Bullet comments floated by. "Oh, is the little puppy falling for it? Is this person in the original work?" "Yes, the one who awakened power-based abilities later. He's always had a crush on the female side character." "What? Crush on the female side character? How come I didn't know?" "Because in the original work, the female side character died early. She never even had a chance to hear his confession." "Me, there's such a thing." Shinkinua seems to be completely different from his cold and aloof sister, warm and generous. After helping me move the supplies, he pulled out a pack of compressed biscuits and shoved them into my hands. He said with concern, "You're too thin. Eat more." I stared at the compressed biscuits in my hand, momentarily at a loss for words. I sensed someone's gaze falling on me. I instinctively looked up. Not far away, Chihu was staring this way. His face was pale, unreadable, but the mineral water bottle in his hand was deflating at a speed visible to the naked eye. The water was drained. My heart skipped a beat, but I didn't know how long he had been watching. Shinqing Han and Shinkingwa thus joined us. One car couldn't fit everyone, so we had to split into two. Chihua and Chang each drove a car separately. Wenyang, seeing that I had been silent all along, Chiha couldn't help but speak up to remind me. I stared at the car door he had opened and didn't say a word. The bullet comments appear at just the right moment. "Oh my god, sis, the female lead has already shown up. Is the supporting female character still planning to steal her place? The supporting female character is just a parasite on the male lead. Let her keep making a fool of herself. I begged the female lead not to ride in the male lead's car. Okay, can we let the male and female leads develop some feelings?" I paused for a moment, no longer looking at Chihao, and directly got into Chang's car. Chang, Shiningwa, and I sat in one car. The other 3 people took another car. As we passed a large supermarket, Chihao suggested stopping to restock supplies. When I entered with Shinkingwa, Chihao was standing with Shinqing Han. The two seemed to be discussing something. Xing Han's expression remained cold and aloof, but he occasionally nodded in response. 2 people standing together. Indeed, they make a perfect match. I feel a bit uncomfortable. I might as well turn my head away and not look. While browsing the daily necessities section, a voice suddenly came from behind me. "Why are you smiling at him?" "Me." "Huh." Chihua looked down at me. He pursed his lips as if organizing his words. After a few seconds, he said, "You and Shinchinua seem to be having a very pleasant conversation." "Me." Before we had a chance to speak privately for a few more words, the others started coming in one after another. Chi gave me a deep look. I intended to leave, but suddenly he grabbed my wrist. "Come with me." "All right." I followed him aimlessly until Chua suddenly stopped, and I bumped into his back. Looking closely, I realized it was rows of adult products from different brands. "Me." Chihua held my hand with his left hand, expressionlessly searching for something with his right hand. SML Chihua suddenly paused his movements as if he had found something. The next second, he threw a box of XL into his pocket. "Me. What does this mean?" My face flushed and my heart raced. Although Chihua and I are already in a romantic relationship, the progress hasn't moved that fast. At most, we've only reached the stage of kissing and hugging. Why did Chihua suddenly bullet comments flash by? What's the male lead going to do? Wow, are these two about to do it? To be honest, the size difference between the female supporting character and the male lead is really thrilling. Upstairs, breaking up the official pairing again. Your mom's gone flying me. Before I could ask for clarification, a voice suddenly came from behind. Shinkingwa asked, "Senior 1, What are you two holding? The words fell, and I clearly felt the air pressure around Chihua drop. He let go of my hand and instead wrapped his arm around my waist, a little tight. His voice was low, repeating Shiningwa's words to himself. Wenjia. My scalp tingled for no reason. Shinua noticed our intimate posture, her expression stiffening. You too, Qi Zhao said solemnly. She's my girlfriend. I had my back turned to Chihua, so I couldn't see his expression, but I clearly saw a few seconds of blankness on Chinkinga's face. In the end, he said nothing and went to find his sister, just as I let out a breath of relief. I heard Chihao suddenly speak. Are you disappointed? Me. Huh. Chihua pinched my chin, forcing me to look up at him. His thumb lightly brushed across the corner of my lips. Yong, you've been distant with me lately. I instantly felt guilty, stammering. No, you're overthinking it. Chihuahua's tone was unreadable. Is that so? In the end, Chiha didn't say whether he believed it or not. In the evening, we found an abandoned hotel on the outskirts of the city to settle in. Sun Shuang and Chang went to check the situation. I could feel that Shinkingwa seemed to glance back at me, but I didn't dare to look at him because Chiha's hand was resting on my waist, giving it a light, deliberate squeeze. Get ready. Tonight, Chang and I will take turns keeping watch. His tone was as usual, revealing no particular emotion. It was Xinqing Han who stepped forward calmly. I'm also an ability user. I can keep watch too. The barrage of comments swiftly scrolled by. Who understands the thrill of this dual powerhouse dynamic? The heroine and the supporting female character immediately stood out in contrast. Who would like a delicate, clinging vine? Didn't you notice how the male leads? Gaze toward the heroine instantly changed. In the original work, the subtle shift in the relationship between the male and female leads happened here. Right. Exactly. The heroine got up in the middle of the night to help the male lead keep watch, and he was worried about her. So they ended up keeping watch together. Wait, what about the female supporting character? The female supporting character. She's obviously just cannon fodder waiting to be dumped. Sai, although I feel a bit sorry for her. That's just fate, I guess. I blinked and immediately broke free from Chihuahua's embrace. Then I jogged to catch up with Sun Yuang and the others to help. As expected, Chihua didn't stop me. Instead, he went to say something to Xinqing Hong. But for some reason, I always feel like there's a gaze fixed on my back, burning so intensely, it makes my spine tingle. The sky gradually darkens. The others each found a room to rest. I originally planned to find one too, but was stopped by Chihao. He stood at the door of a suite, looking at me. You stay in this room. Not asking, stating. I paused. For a moment. What about you? He looked at me for a moment without saying a word. Then he turned and went into the next room. I stared at the closed door, unsure of what I was feeling. But after thinking back on the barrage of comments, I suddenly felt relieved. Forget it. Chao was never mine to begin with. Why bother? Maybe after tonight, Chihao will gradually start to like Xinqing Han. I pushed the door open and entered the room. It was unexpectedly clean inside. Had Chi cleaned it for me in advance? I walked to the bed with a weary expression and lay down. Not even 5 minutes later, the sound of knocking echoed. I thought it might be Sun Yuang or Chang needing something. So, I got up to open the door. The moment I opened it, I froze. Chihao stood outside the door. He changed his clothes, his hair still a bit damp, as if he had just used his ability to take a bath. He carried the clean scent of water vapor. My brain froze for 3 seconds. Chihua didn't speak, just looked at me. His gaze was heavy, carrying something I couldn't understand. I instinctively took a step back. He followed me into the room. Click. The door was locked from the inside. My heart skipped a beat. Chiyu. Before I could finish speaking, he suddenly reached out and pulled me into his arms, holding me very tightly. He buried his head in the crook of my neck, his voice muffled. Young. I didn't move, letting him hold me. After a long while, he finally released me and looked down at me. I averted my gaze from his burning stare. Chi raised his hand, his thumb gently tracing the corner of my lips. You smile at Sunwang, at Shinkinua, even at Chang. He paused, his tone suddenly growing heavier. But you never look at me. My throat tightened. He explained, I just feel like I was too clingy with you before, and I want to be more independent. Independent. Chi Hua repeated the words, his tone strange. Then he laughed. It inexplicably sent a chill down my spine. Independent enough that you don't need me anymore. Independent enough to accept kindness from others. Chi Hua stared at me. I've been watching for a long time. My heart suddenly tightened. Chi Ha's tone was eerily calm. The period from 3 to 6 months into a relationship is when the novelty tends to fade. So Wenyang, have you lost interest in me? Or is it that I no longer hold any special meaning for you? I lowered my head in silence. Kai's face completely lost its smile. He stared into my eyes and said slowly, word by word, Wenyang, you're just going to leave after treating me like a second-hand junk. I hadn't even spoken when he suddenly leaned down and kissed me. It wasn't a gentle kiss. It was a fierce kiss filled with plunder and possession. I tasted the metallic tang of blood. I don't know if it's his or mine. The bullet comments are flooding the screen. Holy, where's my calm? Gentle, rational guy. This is a bit creepy and unhinged. Bro, stop spreading rumors about my late brother. His ability is water-based. Exactly. Water inherently has two sides, which has long hinted that the male lead's personality isn't what it appears to be. Oh my god, I just remembered when the female side character was causing trouble. The male lead never showed impatience, always soothing her. Creepy when you think about it. It's not that the male lead has a good temper. He simply doesn't allow the female side character to leave his line of sight. Chao suddenly picked me up and carried me into the bathroom. He activates his ability. The next second, the bathroom was filled with steam. Kai's voice was hoarse from the heat. I didn't help you bathe last time, so I'll make it up to you now. He seemed to pull something out of his pocket. A small square box. Oh no, big box. Not feeling fresh anymore. Then let's freshen things up again. It was clearly scorching, suffocating. Yet my mind grew clearer and sharper. This can't go on. Chi was destined to fall for Xinqing Han. I am just an interlude in his life. If we don't end our relationship in time, the only outcome waiting for me is death. During the intermission, Chi Hua leaned close to my ear and asked, What are you thinking about? I was completely stunned by him. On impulse, I said, I want to break up. Chihuahua, the bullet comments flashed again. I used to always call the female supporting character useless, but now I apologize to her. Damn, you're still in there and you already dare to break up. Sister, you are my only sister. No, don't you think the supporting female character has really changed a lot and the male lead actually agreed to let the female lead stay awake alone instead of both of them staying together? Before ending, Chi Hua asked me again, are we still splitting up? I was firm. Yes. Chi Hao. Okay. Everyone noticed the tension between me and Chi Ha. On the way to the capital base, I almost deliberately kept my distance from Chi Hua, and Chi Hua would usually come over on his own initiative. Even if he just glances at me briefly, he will subtly draw me into his line of sight. But now he is just silent. Even when faced with a situation where he must speak, it's only with a strictly businesslike attitude. It was as if he truly didn't care about me anymore. I saw his coldness and distance clearly. I tried to comfort myself. This is better for everyone. Yet, I couldn't help but feel deeply disappointed. After feeling lost, I think I'm being overly dramatic. It seems the barrage of criticism was justified. I sat under a tree munching on compressed biscuits. Chi Hao sat together with Chang and Xinqing Han. The three of them seemed to be discussing the next route. Xinqing Han's expression remained cold and aloof, but she occasionally nodded and said a few words. Chi Hao listened, responding from time to time. I lowered my head to chew on the compressed biscuit, trying hard not to. Look over there. Bullets fly by. The female lead and male lead are such a perfect match. The female supporting character is all alone. Kind of pitiful. What's so pitiful? Isn't she just bringing it on herself? But the male lead really has become cold. He used to follow the female side character with his gaze wherever she was. Of course, he'd be cold after breaking up. By the way, how much longer until the Zombie King appears soon? Soon. almost to the point in the original story where the female side character dies. My hand trembled and the compressed biscuit almost fell to the ground. Right, Zombie King. According to the original plot, I'll die soon, but I've already tried to change myself. To make myself quiet and calm. To change others' stereotypes about me. Could this also change my fate of dying at the hands of the Zombie King? Shinkingwa suddenly appeared beside me and handed me a new cookie. Senior, you haven't been in a good mood lately. I forced a smile, pretending not to care. It's nothing, just too nervous. The city we are in now, S City, is one of the areas densely populated by zombies. When sleeping at night, we can occasionally hear the howling of zombies. For someone like me without any special abilities, this is no different from sleeping in the palace of the King of Hell. Shinkinua smiled and patted my shoulder. He was just about to say a few words to comfort me. A cold voice suddenly cut in. Let's get ready to go. Chihua had walked over at some point without me noticing, but his gaze wasn't on me, nor was it on Shinkinua. He merely glanced over us briefly, his tone carrying an undeniable authority, but the low pressure around him clearly indicated his displeasure. Shinkinua didn't dare to say more and got up to leave. A bullet comment drifted by. The Zombie King is coming soon. Supporting female character. You're on your own now. For some reason, I seem to have developed a different kind of feeling toward the supporting female character upstairs. I feel the same way. I've watched her change step by step, and I'm actually starting to feel reluctant to see her die. Hey, this is the end times. People like the supporting female character will inevitably die eventually. We can't let her single person hold back all the survivors. Well, if the female side character doesn't die, how can the male and female leads end up together? The sky in S City was gray and overcast. We drove along the highway heading out of the city on both sides. Abandoned vehicles were densely packed together like the bones of zombies. I was terrified watching it. Shanshin Han was sitting beside me. She seemed to glance at me, then gently patted my shoulder. You've really been off lately. She spoke with certainty. I didn't know if it was my pale face or if her healing ability had sensed it, but I still nodded truthfully. Sincerely, I said, I'm just an ordinary person. It's normal to be afraid, although the bullet comments say I have supernatural abilities, too, but my special ability is no different from being useless. Better not to have it. Shinshin Han fell silent for a moment before suddenly saying, Supernatural abilities are a reflection of one's inner world. When young, what do you think matters most to you? What matters most to me? This is the first time anyone has ever asked me that. I grew up in an orphanage. There were far too many children there. The aunties simply couldn't manage everything. Everything had to be fought for and earned by oneself. Over time, I developed a selfish and self-centered personality. I firmly believed if I don't treat myself well, who else in this world will treat me well? So when I was young, what I cared about most was whether I could get attention from my aunts and teachers. As I grew older, what I cared about most was whether I could receive praise and favor from my teachers. During adolescence, I first tasted the convenience brought by beauty. That feeling was like sugar-coated with poison, making me addicted. After graduation, I became an internet celebrity, liked by many, loved by many. At that time, I became even more aware that beauty is a scarce resource in today's society. So, when the apocalypse arrived, my ability naturally turned into the power of beauty. But unfortunately, it was completely useless, seeing that I didn't respond. Shanshin Han patiently asked me again. I thought for a moment, then spoke slowly. I used to care about whether it looked good or not. But now I don't know. Xing Han changed his approach. Then, what do you want most now? I remained silent for a long time. Xing Han reached out and covered my palm. A faint green glow suddenly appeared on my palm. She comforted me. It's to relieve fatigue and tension. Take your time to think. Perhaps it was because Shening Han's voice was too calm. It might also be because her ability is too powerful. Anyway, I really seemed to calm down involuntarily. I slowly spoke. I want to be treated as a human being, not a burden, not a parasite, not some cannon fodder supporting female character. not a tool for the male and female leads to deepen their relationship. Just me. That's all Shinching Han used. If your ability is a reflection of your inner world, then the more you desire something, the better you might be at it. I was stunned, not quite understanding. Shinching Han, you want to be seen as a person, to be remembered, cared about, valued by others. Then your ability might not be about becoming beautiful, but about making people unable to ignore you. Mi-ha Shinching Han unusually showed a faint smile. To put it another way, your ability might not be about becoming more attractive, but rather about presence. You could think of it as a mental type power. Me sounds so powerful. I instinctively glanced at the bullet comments. What the? How come these two are suddenly sisters now? Got it wrong. So, the female side character has a psychic type ability. This ability is a double-edged sword. The female side character wants to be seen, but being seen isn't always a good thing. Zombies can see her. 2. Wouldn't that make it easier for the male lead to attract zombies and set up his base in the future? Kind of funny. Others gain powers and become stronger, but her power makes her a zombie magnet. Doesn't anyone find it a bit sweet? The heroine is cold to everyone, but incredibly patient with the female side character. Oh, come on. As long as there's no female rivalry, they're all good girls. It's all because the original female side character died too early, never even developed her own powers. I was stunned, staring in disbelief. Holy, what danger! What a mess! I had only one thought the whole time. I might actually be pretty valuable. I suddenly started looking forward to the Zombie King showing up. Of course, not that I wanted to die, but to see if I can really be of use. The comments say, I died too early before, never developing any special abilities. What about now? I've already started to change, no longer causing trouble nor completely relying on Chihua, even getting along quite amicably with the original female lead. Can this change fate? I was lost in thought when the convoy suddenly stopped. Chihi's voice came from the front car, short and urgent. Something's wrong. My heart sank abruptly. Through the car window, I saw a dense, dark mass of zombies running toward us from the end of the highway. At the forefront was a noticeably larger and taller zombie wherever it passed. Ordinary zombies quickly moved aside. Is that the Zombie King? I felt a chill run through my body. The bullet comments flooded the screen. It's here. It's here. Damn. The tension is insane. This part in the original was written so thrillingly. The female supporting character died right here, torn apart by the Zombie King. Help. I don't want her to die now. What do? I clench my fists, my nails digging into my palms. No, I don't want to die. Shinching Han suddenly grabbed my hand. Her expression remained calm, but her grip was tight. Follow me, I nodded. Chihao and Chang had already rushed out. The water waves and lightning flashes caused a huge impact on my retina, but the Zombie King didn't move at all. Instead, he quickly counterattacked. Watch out. Chi narrowly dodged, but Chang was hit and fell heavily to the ground. Shanqing Han let go of my hand, gritted her teeth, and said, I'm going to help them. I grabbed her tightly. You're a healer, are you? Rushing to your death. Perhaps the situation was truly critical. I didn't even notice the worry in my own tone. Shinching Han looked back at me, his gaze still calm. He's injured and needs me. Him. I was stunned. The bullet comments floated by again. This is the destined female lead, willing to do anything for the male lead. So hot. Can the female side character please stop holding us back? I stood still, watching Shinching Han rush forward. Her healing ability was truly impressive. I could clearly see the wounds on Chihua healing rapidly. But the Zombie King noticed her quickly changed his target and attacked Shinching Han. Chihao wanted to rush over, but was entangled by the horde of zombies. Chang was seriously injured. Sun Yuang is just an ordinary person. No one can save her. I watched Shinching Han's back. She was so calm, so strong, but at this moment, she was just a mortal who could die. I suddenly remembered the question she had just asked me. What do you want most? I want to be seen. I want to be treated as a human being. I don't want to be cannon fodder anymore. I don't want to be a tool anymore. And I definitely don't want to watch a good person die right before my eyes. Shinching Han once said that supernatural abilities are a reflection of one's inner world. What do I want most? I want to feel significant. I want everyone to be unable to ignore me. It could also include zombies. The next second, I rushed out when Yang Sunwang's exclamation rang out behind me. I didn't look back. With all my strength, I shouted toward the direction of the Zombie King. Hey! Instantly, invisible ripples seemed to spread outward for me in all directions. All the zombies' movements paused for a moment. They slowly turned their heads to look at me. The moment he locked eyes with me, my hair stood on end. The bullet comments went completely wild. Holy, 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 the female supporting character has amplified her presence by countless times. Oh my god, are all the zombies now only focusing on her? I sent that just making her a living target. Yes, I'm just a living target. But enough. What Chihu and Chang need is this moment. The Zombie King's attention is entirely on me and rushed towards me at great speed. She seized the opportunity and used his powers to fiercely slash at the Zombie King's back. Although Chang was seriously injured, he still exerted his last bit of strength to coordinate with Kai's attack. The water waves and lightning vanished into his body, and the Zombie King let out a roar. But at the same time, he unleashed his final strike. Though I didn't take it head-on, the shock wave still swept over me. It felt as if something had pierced straight through my chest. My vision went black from the pain. As I fell, I saw Chihao rushing toward me. The calm on his face finally shattered. In its place was a panic I had never seen before. Yang, I'm in so much pain, but it quickly stops. Hurting. It's like a green light appeared. I can clearly feel the wound healing. Is it Shinching Han? She's really a good person. No wonder she's the female lead. I'd like her, too, if I were him. When I woke up again, I found myself in Kai's arms. Bullet comments. Finally woke up. Almost scared the male lead to death. I feel the male lead still loves her quite a bit. He's just admiring the female lead. Wow, have we all been fooled by the original story? Come on. The moment the female supporting character starts to change, the wheel of fate has already begun to turn. Haha, I used to ship the two of them, and you all said my mom flew away upstairs. Auntie's home. Chua noticed my slight movement and quickly checked my wound. Still hurts. I shook my head blankly, processing the words from the bullet comments. Shinching Han, who was driving in the front row, also breathed a sigh of relief. You're finally awake, I asked. What about the zombies? She said he was severely beaten and ran away. We are almost at the capital base now. I breathed a sigh of relief. The capital base, with its comprehensive military political system and defensive capabilities, is the safest area in the post-apocalyptic world. Stepping inside is practically a guarantee of survival. But right now, I'm feeling a little less than alive, because Chihua was still holding me tightly, so tightly that I could barely breathe. I pushed him gently. Chihua, I'm fine now. He didn't let go instead. He held me tighter, the voice muffled above my head, carrying a hint of horrorousness. Wenyang, are you crazy? I froze for a moment. He continued, do you know how dangerous that was just now? Shinching Han suddenly turned back from the passenger seat, his tone still calm. She has powers. Chihao froze for a moment. What? Shinching Han quickly explained my abilities. Chihua remained silent for a long time, so long that I thought he wouldn't speak at all. Then he said, so you ran out to protect Shinching Han? I blinked. This question. I looked at Shinching Han. She was also looking at me, her gaze still calm, but her lips seemed to lift slightly. I thought for a moment and answered honestly, not entirely. His gaze darkened for an instant. Also to protect everyone. After all, it was better for everyone if the Zombie King was dead. Chihua didn't speak, but his fingers tightened slightly on my waist. The bullet comment started buzzing again. Ah, the male lead is jealous. Whose jealousy is it? Shenning Hans. No, he's jealous of everyone because the female supporting character didn't rush out just for him alone. Such strong possessiveness. I like it. I silently shifted my gaze away. I didn't dare to look at Shinching Han, nor did I dare to look at Chiha. The convoy continued, moving forward. I finally struggled out of Chihuahua's arms and sat in the passenger seat. Chihuahua's gaze could bore 2 holes into my back, but I pretended not to. See, Xinqing Han glanced at me, his tone indifferent. He's still looking. Me. I know. Xinqing Han, you're not turning back. Me. I dare not. Xinqing Han let out a rare light laugh. Bullet comments. Oh my god. The female lead smiled. I scent it just too captivating when a cold beauty smiles. Wait, are you guys shipping the female lead and the supporting female character? What's the problem? In the original work, they had no interaction because the supporting character died early, but now they do. Xinqing Han rarely indulged in gossip, but this time she couldn't help but ask, "So, did you two break up or not?" "We did." "We didn't." Chi Hao and I spoke at the same time. Xinqing Han raised an eyebrow, hinting meaningfully, "Please give me a clear answer. My brother is waiting for good news." Me. Chi Hua narrowed his eyes. His tone was indifferent. "He has no chance. We're getting back together." Me. "When? Why didn't you notify me?" "The capital base has finally arrived. Tall walls, tight defenses, and survivors and superhumans coming and going. We got out of the car to undergo inspection. As the team leader, Chiha went to coordinate with the base management personnel. Chang was seriously injured and needed treatment, so he was sent to the medical area. Sun Shuang followed to take care of him. Our team was assigned to the same building. After a comprehensive assessment by the base, Chihao, Xinqing Han, and Chang have been assigned to a new special abilities team. Hearing this news, I was a bit shocked. "Can I also have an official position?" Xing Han nodded. "I don't know why, but she always smiles when she looks at me. Your current ability usage is still not very proficient. After training, you can reach above the first rank and become the core that unites people's hearts." I savored it for a while, realizing I'd become the war drum in ancient battles between 2 armies. This truly seems to be the highest level of presence. Chang is still resting, and suddenly my time became free. Besides training, I'm constantly being pestered by Chihao. He seemed to be truly carrying out his complex plan. Or perhaps he was chasing me in a daysay. I seemed to see myself chasing after him, right behind him. Only now the roles were reversed. I stared at Chiha's profile, feeling somewhat dazed. Suddenly I asked, "Are you going to sleep with me tonight?" Chihao was completely stunned for a full minute, subconsciously asking, "Need to get something me, sleeping, purely Chi." Zhao nodded. "Okay." I held hands with Chihao as we walked back to the dormitory. I couldn't help but speak up. "Thank you." Chihua asked, "Thank you for what?" I smiled without saying a word. "Thank you, Chihao. Thank you, Xinqing Han. Thank you, everyone. Of course, thank you." The bullet comments, for letting me see myself, letting me know that I'm not just cannon fodder, not a tool, not a supporting character in someone else's story. I am Wang. Just when young, I whispered, "Chihua, whom will you stay with me forever?" He looked down at me, his gaze earnest. "Yes, forever, always." I smiled. Sunlight spilled behind me, the sky of the apocalypse still cold. But I was no longer afraid because someone will always be with me after hearing this story. What are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comment section. Looking forward to hearing your voice.